How are we, ladies and gentlemen, listeners? Welcome to the Leg Up Australia podcast.
1, 2, 3. Can he do it? The gloves are off. They go toe to toe, blow for blow. He's clear. His big heart pounding. Yes! There's history. Tatanka makes it 3 in a row.
There is one big fat chink in the Sydney Spring Carnival, Blake, and I think it's a disgrace that the Golden Eagle is a week after the Cox Plate. I know they're different, Melbourne, New South Wales, yada, 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 but why can't Golden Eagle Day be on the same day as the Everest? There's only 2 4-year-olds in the Everest that would be going to a Golden Eagle. The King Charles, there's only the likes of Amelia's Jewel, a Radina who's probably not even up to weight for age. Strengthen that Everest card and give horses the chance to go Cox Plate after the Golden Eagle.
That's a interesting one. Interesting one because you want the Everest horses to run in the Golden Eagle, so you don't want it on Everest Day. Ideally, you'd have Everest, Golden Eagle, Cox Plate.
Yes.
So, do they push the Everest back 2 weeks and then slot the Golden Eagle in 2 weeks after before the Cox Plate and keep the horses in Sydney as long as possible?
Yep.
Is that the answer? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but we saw, obviously there's...
You're just disappointed because you're going the Everest and you want the Golden Eagle on the same day.
No, I want the Cox Plate to be the best race, and if you're going to lose the likes of Amelia's Jewel, potentially a Kovalika, Osipenko, I think there's some top-line 4-year-olds that could be there in the Cox Plate, but they can't be this year. And
I'm just hopeful that the announcement comes out that Amelia's Jewel is not going to the Cox Plate and she is going to go to the Golden Eagle because she'd be an absolute moral.
Absolute moral.
They wouldn't beat her.
Yeah. That's a big call.
They wouldn't beat her.
Yeah.
No way. Because her win the other day was outstanding. Has she ticked the 2,000 metre box yet?
No, she's won at 1,800.
1,800. I have no reason to think that she won't tick it. But that 1,500 against the 4-year-olds, who's going to beat her? Who's current? She's favourite.
Yeah.
In the all-in market, but there's a chance that she won't be there. But outside of her,
yeah, I think there might be a Japanese galloper, Obu.
Oh yes, I saw him.
Mamarai or something along those lines. It sounds like Kovalika will go to the Cox Plate. He's going to run in the King Charles and then go to Melbourne. Just having a look at the dabble market for the Golden Eagle. So Amelia's Jewel $4.20, Legato $7. The Kiwi mare that won the Australian.
And did it miss a run?
Missed a run last week just because of the heavy track, but it runs on Saturday.
Okay, yeah. I think if they go chase the Bucks, there'll be a Cox Plate on offer next year.
Yep, you're only four once.
Only get one chance to run in a Golden Eagle. But yeah, she's outstanding. It's a shame that most likely now the best sprinter in Australia, Australasia, is going to be sitting in her box on Everest Day.
Yes.
Apparently. There's only one slot to go.
There is. I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk one more thing about Amelia's Jewel. We saw connections after the win on Friday night. I think, is it Peter Walsh, maybe the bloke that owns Amelia Park in WA, said we'll have a decision by the end of the weekend where we're going, what we're doing. They've come out on the Monday. They've said we've decided we're going to the Toorak. So the Toorak's on Everest Day in Melbourne, Group 1 handicap. But then they've come out and said, depending on what weight we get, then we'll make a decision. If we get too much weight in the Toorak, we'll just go to Sydney. So is it just poorly worded? Are they bluffing? Or is it a threat to say, hey, give us 53 kilos or we're going north of the border? Because a lot of the form gurus and people that like to call themselves armchair handicappers, they're saying 56 kilos with the mare's allowance should be the only... She looks like she'll be one of the only Group 1 winners in the field, so she should be up the top of the weights.
That's okay. 56 kilos. It's less than weight for age for her.
That's right. Is she better off conceding, say, 2 kilos to an Antino or a Rheinberg, these progressive horses, rather than going to Sydney and tackling the
Oh.
best weight for age milers in the country.
They won't see which way she goes in the two-rack. She's just too good for them. Way too good for them.
Yeah.
So she'll just win that. I know she just beat Pride of Jenny the other day, but
I think
Pride of
7
Jenny...
kilos would be the swing in Pride of Jenny's favour in the two-rack.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough. But Pride of Jenny's gone super there.
Yeah. Could have gone a length better for me.
Super. She ran second to Espiona
Yeah.
in the Coolmore.
Yes.
Was that Coolmore? Last prep?
Three-way go.
So she's a real second up horse, and then I think then
Is that
third
when she
up
went
last prep. No,
Mad in front?
she went mad in front. She went mad in front, second up last prep.
Yep.
And she stuck on.
Yep.
And then she went, I think, next time to 2,000 metres, and she went madder in front.
Yeah.
And
That's
she didn't
right.
stick on.
Yes.
But she went good. It's just Amelia's Jewel was she was in a hand canter getting up to her. It was over.
It was a great ride. The ride won the race because she's never been that close in her life. She's usually at the back. Moonee Valley, first time, a few people, myself included, were keen to be against her because she can't be last at the Valley and come around them. And then next minute, Frosty Lane puts her outside the leader and within a length of Pride of Jenny, and it's like, oh, well, I've done my dough here. Where was the change of tactics?
Yeah. Where was it?
Where was it? Come on.
No.
Did they get fined?
Yeah, fine them. But yeah, Pride of Jenny, if she runs, she has to be a hope on that because she's gone super as well. But Amelia's Jewel, run her in the Golden Eagle because she'll be winning. She'll be competitive in a Cox Plate, no doubt. I don't know who's going to beat her. Interested to see Romantic Warrior this weekend. Kovalika was outstanding in an Epsom from a non-winning position and held up sort of at a key stage and really strong late.
Touchy subject.
Who else has a chance in that?
In the Cox Plate?
Who else is in the
I think
market?
Aidan O'Brien's bringing a horse called Victoria Road, which Aussie Kerr and John O'Neill, those Coolangatta, Sir Dragonet Silks, they've just bought it. So it's over here. I think it's around $11 or $12. Light Infantry will be going from the King Charles there. You've Mr. Brightside, Alligator Blood, they're two horses. Genuine queries at 2,000 metres in a Cox Plate, I would have thought.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. I don't think Alligator Blood could win it, but Mr. Brightside's obviously the best miler in Australia at the moment.
Also, Panko?
I noticed there's a bit of rain about in Melbourne this week.
Yes.
Lots of rain yesterday.
Yep.
Today a bit of rain. So we'll potentially have a wet track this weekend. But Gold Trip could be a big chance on a heavy track.
Yeah.
If they got rain. Because remember last year,
last year he probably
the
should've
blinkers
won.
went on. And you could definitely be forgiving of the margin. He was bloody under a stranglehold on the line. And then we all came out and said, oh, he'll win the Melbourne Cup. And I went cold on him.
You did.
In 9 days' time, I was cold.
You talked me into him on Cox Plate Day.
Worked out well for us.
Yeah,
Because
we had tickets.
I think we took $26 or something.
I actually had Amelia's, funnily enough, this spring I've been against Amelia's Jill, but she raced on Cox Plate Day in Perth as a $2 favourite. And I multied her that day, all up Gold Trip in the Melbourne Cup, and got 52 to 1.
Wowee.
Laughing. Maybe I should be back on the Amelia's Jill train.
What last year the Bart Cummings, because the Bart Cummings is on this weekend.
Yes.
What was the name of the horse? He ran fourth. Was he Mike Moroney, a missionary or something?
Emissary? Yeah.
Did he win the Bart Cummings?
No. He won the Geelong Cup.
He won the Geelong Cup.
And then he ran second in the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. He ran super.
He did.
I think the 3 ways in the Cup for me that were the best results were Stockman, Emissary, and Gold Trip. So 2 of them and 1, 2.
At the 200, you were laughing.
It was all right.
You were all right. This week, bit to cover. Imperatriz, we mentioned, not going to the Everest. Well, that's been the talk all the way through, but we've had a few more slots. So Espiona now in the Chris Waller Racing slot. Shinzo picked up, obviously, in the Coolmore slot, which we expected. And Hawaii 5-0 takes the Aquas slot. So that leaves one. So it's Yulong's left, They paid the big dollars for alcohol free. They haven't announced it yet. Do you think they're trying last minute effort to swindle TLU Racing and Imperatriz and maybe come up with a deal for after racing to get her in their slot? Or
I would like to hope so. Well, you know that they've got infinite money, right?
well, that's right.
It seems like they've got infinite money.
They spend millions at the sales.
So maybe if they could. I don't know how much she's worth post racing. I don't know. I'm not
in that business.
I don't know what she's worth, but let's say
I'd be thinking 4 or 5.
Imagine if they agreed to, okay, she's worth 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Imagine if they said, all right, we'll take, no, I don't know what the deal is that they're looking for, but maybe TLU are looking for 70-30 or something like that. Imagine, or I don't know, but if they agreed upon a deal for this race and then they agreed upon a sale of her once she's finished. Like if they said, okay, 10 million, we'll buy her off you for 10 million.
They paid 10 million for alcohol free. Why not?
Who knows? That could definitely work because I don't think, from all reports, they're probably not going to breed with her because is she a syndicate horse?
Yeah, so TLU, they're
syndicated.
They've got syndicated, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So
they will sell her at the end of. As far as I know, Melody Bell they sold, so yeah, they'll be selling.
Sell her. Yep. Yulong. I'd love to see her there. I think.
Does it take away from the race if she's not there?
It does.
This year especially, sort of really. It's gone from, I think, being one of the best Everests we were going to see when Giga Kick was going to be there, Sunshine in Paris was going to be there. We thought Imperatriz might be like. Has it dropped off a little bit?
There's no knock on the race. It's still a great race.
Yeah.
Still a great race.
Would it be better at 1,400 this year? I think so. I think there's more 7 furlong horses than 6.
Yeah, that's okay. I think it's still a great race. It's disappointing that Nature Strip and Eduardo and horses like that have come to the end of their careers, but we're just not going to see them anymore, and that happens in racing. But Giga Kick, definitely disappointing that he's not there. But we still have I Wish I Win, who, best horse in Australia.
Yes.
But I don't know.
Think about it. He's won 10 of his 11. I think was that 8 in a row?
He's well and truly. There's just no bottom to him.
No. It's hard for me to. A horse like Think About It. I took him on through the winter in Brisbane, and I had egg on my face every time he went around. I know you had been against him in those couple of lead-up runs to the Brisbane Carnival, and we both sort of said, we probably should start tipping this horse. Now, he's won first up. He's done it the tradesman way. He got the gap on the inside, and he was out on his feet late. So for me, it's like, he's already looking like he wants 1,400 or a mile, but how do you knock him?
No knock. He's a genuine star.
Is he too short though?
I think I always say this, but I think he's got to. I think I Wish I Win has to start favourite.
Yeah, I noticed a little
unless
bit.
Unless Imperatriz is in the race.
What price is Imperatriz if she's there?
Well, she's favourite.
Evens?
No, I don't think so. No. 2 to 1.
Yep.
$3.
Yep.
I think so. So that $4.40 that's $4.60 that's sitting there with double. Get your money back if she doesn't run, punters. So worth throw up the stumps. I think she
free hit
2 to 1.
Yep, probably 20 to 1 that she's actually there.
Because there are rumours out there that she's not as good in the Sydney direction, etc., etc. But maybe they know more than me in regards to her racing career in New Zealand. But given she's only had one run in Sydney and she was run down the last stripe by Torius.
She went forward that day too, and there's no speed.
I think she led. Everest. Yeah. She led, but she'd only just sort of she'd just come from New Zealand, so that's got to take something out of her. You can't compare apples and oranges. I don't think she's been out here. This is her full campaign.
Yep.
They've always had eyes on these races in Melbourne. Apparently, she's in a really happy place. But so the last time she was in Sydney, travel got run down by a good horse.
Yep, correct. I agree. I'd love to see her there. One horse that won't be there, retired during the week, lost and running. Bit of a strange one, lost and running, I think. He had 21 career starts. He won 9 races, 4.3 million in prize money. Not once did he place in a Group 1. He obviously didn't win one. But he's ran 4th in an Everest. He went in as a single-figure chance in the 2022 edition. He would have had the right run in the race. He got scratched on race morning. I don't think we ever saw the best of him.
Definitely not.
Could he have won an Everest? Could he have won the Everest last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The market says that he could have.
Yep.
Yeah, we just didn't see the best of him. I would have liked to see him on that day.
That was definitely the point where his career went downhill, though. When he got scratched on race morning, I don't know if it's just he never recovered from whatever virus it was that he had, but he wasn't. He started well-backed favourite in the Winners' Stakes a fortnight later at 1,300 and flopped, and then all through the autumn, he was awful.
Yeah, he's been gone since. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was interesting. Remember J-Mac used to ride him early days? I think he debuted at Scone.
Yeah, I reckon he had a track record at Scone.
Broke the track record.
Yeah.
Which has since been broken as well.
Yes.
Who by? I think by once again my girl. Maybe?
So I was thinking.
Once again my girl.
Yeah.
Who had her colours lowered the other day.
She did as a
$1.12
or something.
$1.12 maybe.
One for the Pearl
So
Seekers.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's a shame that we didn't get to see the best of him. I didn't realise he was a 7-year-old though. 21 starts
Yeah, he hasn't had many starts.
as a 7-year-old.
I think he string together a fair few. Those 7 wins.
9 wins. Yeah, it was
9 wins.
It
Came
was
relatively
6 from
early.
his first 7, I believe.
Yeah.
He got narrowly beaten on a Wednesday on like the Kenzo.
Mac used to ride him.
Yep.
Early days. I
Tommy
think.
Berry did a bit of riding on him. Huey Bowman.
Huey. Yeah,
Yep.
Huey rode won the Hunter on one of those races on him.
Yeah, and I think he might have ridden him in the lead up to the Everest last year. Won the Premier.
Yeah.
Yep. This weekend in Melbourne, you made an interesting comment during the week. It's the Bart Cummings, so it's ballot exempt into the race that stops the nation, the Melbourne Cup, Golden Ticket. Luna Flair won a Golden Ticket race into the Melbourne Cup. Well, she won this race 12 months ago, and then she won the Andrew Ramsden in the autumn. She failed to beat a runner home in her second run this preparation. So we've got a horse locked in. She's got a Melbourne Cup start if they want it. You run last in one of your lead-ups. You look pretty legless. Apparently the sectionals weren't too bad late, but still got beaten out of sight. Doesn't go at Caulfield. That was the defence. So back to Flemington. I think she's in the Turnbull this weekend. But the ballot exempt races, so it gives a chance for the trainer to really set up their horse and go, all right, we're in the race. We've got the spot. We can just get her ready. But does it take away from the field a little bit? Because if she is genuinely legless, but nothing wrong with her in vet checks or anything like that, they can run in the Cup, and they're just making up numbers. Then, aren't they?
No doubt, and that's one of the worst things come Cup time. I don't think that they should have ballot exempt races
that far out.
Yep. No doubt. The Bart Cummings definitely should be a ballot exempt race. Mm-hmm. The Geelong Cup, all these races that are leading into the Melbourne Cup, even what's the race on the Saturday? Is that it used to be called the Lexus?
I think it's the Hotham handicap.
The Hotham. Those sort of races definitely, because they're the horses that you want in the field. You want in-form horses, but not to say that she might find her form, etc., but you don't want horses going into the race with 0, 0, 0, 0 next to their name, because they're not going to attract any turnover. It's not great for the race.
You want 24 last start winners.
Yeah, well, you might leave out a horse who has a genuine chance. Like a horse like First Immortal, who could find his way into the Bart Cummings this weekend and find his way into the Melbourne Cup field. But come Melbourne Cup time, if he doesn't win one of these races, but he runs well in these sort of races, he might not be there because like a horse like, let's say, Luna Flair as the example, she might find her form between now and then, but and she might not be a good example, but if she goes duck egg into the Melbourne Cup, then she might take his place.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because that Andrew Ramsden, it hasn't produced a winner, but Realm of Flowers won it last year.
Yeah, I was on.
She
I think
went-
I think I had her second pick in last year's.
And I think she ran
Cup.
4th or 5th.
She ran really well, and
Really
she was
well.
really well supported too.
Yeah.
I think she started a single figure chance.
And I think maybe the year before that, I think Steel Prince beat Surprise Baby in the Andrew Ramsden, and then Surprise Baby won the Bart Cummings. But that Surprise Baby, he was another one that started right in the market. Luna Flair, if she didn't have that big duck egg next to her name, she was one of the leading Cup hopes.
Oh yeah,
terms
she
of
was
the
$10 at
locals.
one stage.
She could very well get there. I think I
I think she got within 5 lengths of Francesco Guardi
in the Valley Gold
at
Cup.
Mooney Valley. So that's pretty good form. And if you can get within 5 lengths of Francesco Guardi, you might be a Melbourne Cup place chance if he's in the race.
You could be, yeah. I suppose the ballot exempt, they're trying to get more locals into the race by having it. Those early ones, all the internationals aren't here. Gives the chance for your Luna Flares, your Surprise Babies to get into the Cup. There's the argument that the Queen, I think they call it the Queen Elizabeth, but it's the 2,600 metre race on Derby on Champions Day. 4 days after the Melbourne Cup, some people have said make that a ballot exempt race for 12 months later. Solcombe won it last year, and he's his second elect in the Melbourne Cup, but he was legless in the Sydney Autumn, so that would have been another case of we've got a horse that's got a Melbourne Cup spot that's going no good. He's found his form back in Melbourne, so interesting.
Do you remember that horse? What was that horse? The grey horse that Bossy won that race on by about
Persons de Lune?
Persons de Lune.
He was a good horse.
He might have won the Cup that year if they had run him.
I feel like we have that argument every year. Is like whether it's the Macca's run on Cup Day, like White Marlin, he won it on Cup Day, the 2,800 metre race, and people are like, "Oh, there's next year's Melbourne Cup winner."
Oh yeah,
he should have been in the Melbourne Cup. Like, why wasn't he there?
I think Puston, like
he was.
That's not the same. It's not the
Different
same argument because Puston Stallone. I think he won Weight for Age Group 1.
Yeah.
Later in his career, so he was a real horse.
And doing good things at stud.
What's he doing at stud?
Well, he's a stallion.
Having some winners.
Yeah.
Some success.
Some success. There's a few to go right by him.
I don't bloody follow the breeding too much.
No, I take note. I like backing progressive sort of 3-year-olds that come up and find derbies. So
that's where you get a feel for it.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you what any of, it'd be a rarity if I knew what a horse was by. Just don't take any notice of it.
That's right. I suppose you don't. It doesn't necessarily.
Doesn't stop them.
It doesn't stop them. No,
Doesn't stop them.
There's no. I don't think there's any written rule either to it.
And I don't take any notice of like 2-year-olds as well. So that's probably like a 2-year-old racing, first starters, etc. That's not my strength. So
no,
and breeding's not my strength.
No, the 2-year-olds already this year they've been all out of whack because the trial form from that first lot of 2-year-old trials just did not stand up.
Yeah, well, that was Scampy pulled up with a poor post-race recovery, so we might be able to forgive him.
Back him in the slippers
but
still.
The market didn't like him.
No, it was out the gate.
Yeah, so I spat him out. So it's sometimes it's weird how the market knows when they're going to pull up with a poor post-race recovery.
Yeah, well, even the 2-year-old races in Queensland, both Mashanis of different Mashanis, has been about 4,000 of them run already, but they were both big drifters in the market off some average trials and won. So it'll be interesting. I think the first 2-year-old race in Melbourne this weekend. But Blake, before we wrap up, there's a Group 1. Have you had a chance to look at the Turnbull this weekend? You mentioned Romantic Warrior. I can't personally remember the last horse to come from Hong Kong to Australia and clean up. I think there was a horse. Was it Lucky 9, a sprinter that might have run in a Moya or a Manicato?
I do. That rings a bell.
It was something like that, but he didn't win.
I don't know too much about him, but the fact that James says that he's a good horse.
Yeah. I think he's one of the highest rated horses to ever come here.
Yeah, so the fact that James is saying that he's a good horse and that he's his Spring Carnival Cox Plate ride, he's been locked in.
Yeah.
He must be a good horse.
He's
so
got to be all right, doesn't he?
you don't want to knock him. He rode the Cox Plate winner last year, so he knows what sort of horse would be the right horse to come down under. And he's going there to ride him this weekend, and you'd suggest that he could have rode at least a few winners in Sydney this weekend. And
there's a lot of prize money on offer in Sydney this weekend too.
Yeah, plenty of prize money, $2 million Hill Stakes. So I'm going to back him in. I think he'll be hard enough to beat. Well, do they take him on? What price is he currently? Do you know?
He was about $2.15 the last I had a look.
$2.15? Yeah, I think
They've
they'll
sort of
take
been,
him on.
Yeah, because I think
to some extent,
a few bookies, a few different bookies when they first went up were like $2.50 straight away into $2, and I thought, this might just be one-way traffic here, and it's going to be $1.70. But now he's got back out, so $2.20 at Dabble at 11 a.m. Thursday.
Yep,
so,
maybe it'll be too good for them. I expect them to take him on to some extent, so maybe he'll land somewhere between $2.20 and $2.40. But I think he's a pretty good horse. Francesco Guardi.
Yeah.
He'll run well.
One more?
Yeah, not yet. I don't think he'll be winning. What's he drawn?
He's drawn barrier 7, which is pretty plumb considering a few of the chances. You've got Osipenko out of 6, West Wind Blows, one of your Caulfield Cup hopes, barrier 8, but then you've got Gold Trip 18, Romantic Warriors 11.
Who's riding Francesco Guardi?
Damian Lane.
Yeah.
Good booking.
So I think if James wins on Romantic Warrior, he might just be hoping that Francesco Guardi hits the line hard.
Has James been locked in?
Caulfield Cup.
Right. Mm-hmm.
James's Caulfield Cup ride.
Interesting.
James has never won a Caulfield Cup too, so.
No, because usually it's Everest Day. Yeah. And PVL wants him up there.
This is it.
This is his chance.
His Caulfield Cup ride.
I'm going to throw a little bit of a roughie out there for the punters.
Okay.
I'm just going to go away from Osipenko. Probably should have just waited and got on Osipenko on this day. But a horse from the Kieran Maher and David Eustace camp by the name of Right You Are.
Yeah, I heard David Eustace on the radio saying that he's going well.
Yeah, he was I was a bit disappointed because his last start in the I'm just trying to remember what race it was, in the Underwood, he ran 5th, beaten 2 lengths. Carried 59 kilos there at weight for age. And I thought, maybe he'll get missed here because it was sort of tucked in behind and good through the line, but few people had spotted it, so he's $21 or thereabouts, $17. I think his profile is similarly to Smoke and Romans, who won it last year.
Okay. $17, punters.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Gate 16, Dean Yendall. Bit yucky. But
that's a bit yucky, but
$4.60 the drum.
I think staying races, barriers aren't as important.
He'll roll forward from the wide draw. 55 kilos on his
Find a spot.
Yeah.
Easy.
All over Red Rover.
Easy.
Yep. That's it from us, punters.
Thanks, punters. Have a great weekend. Good luck if you're playing the Turnbull. And hopefully you find plenty of winners.
Fingers crossed. Good time of year to find winners.
Oh, isn't it?
Great.
See you, punters.
Cheers, punters.